Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So as you can see, I have two special guests with me here today. I have Paul and Kelly.
Hi guys.
And they make up the team behind 618 Studios, who are my wedding videographers. So today we're going to be discussing everything about wedding videography, everything from why you should do it, the do's and don'ts, how to find a good fit, and everything like that. So I am super excited and let's get going.
Let's do it.
So what should you look for when hiring a videographer in your opinion?
What do you think?
Well, I think a thing that's really important is, since you're going to be spending a majority of your day with them, one thing to look for is, do you get along with them? Are they someone that you can have a conversation with? Are they someone that, kind of makes you feel relaxed and makes you feel comfortable? Because we have had some friends and, people that we know that didn't go much into that. And so then the wedding day comes and they feel uncomfortable, they feel awkward, and it's just, it really affects your day. So I think that's a big one to kind of look for. Yeah,
just getting to know them. Yeah, if there's someone that you really genuinely, you're going to be spending a lot of time with, your photographer and your videographer that day. So someone that you really genuinely enjoy spending time with.
I think people always don't necessarily think about that. I think they look at the body of work.
Yes.
And I know I was choosing between two photographers, and both one was Katie, who's my photographer now, and the other one, I won't name him, but both really great, but he was just a bit, I had a call with both of them, and he was very nice, but we just didn't quite click.
Right.
Whereas as soon as I spoke to Katie, she was so warm and welcoming, and it was honestly like chatting with an old friend. That is so important, like knowing that, you actually like the people, because they're going to be there with you when you're getting into your wedding dress, when you're getting ready with your mom, like
a lot of intimate moments.
And we'll be there with you more than like your great friends and your family members.
Possibly even the groom, like all day long.
Yes, that's a good point.
So you want to be surrounded by people that you actually like during your wedding day, I think, and so chemistry and fit is so important, I think.
It really is.
Any do's or don'ts for wedding videography in general?
So I feel like I have to think about this one.
Well, I'll say too, we've already touched on it before, is don't just fall in love with the style, because like we were talking about, there's almost two sides to the artistic, vendors that you'll have. There's the artistic side, and then there's also the business side. So just because someone has the most amazing work doesn't mean it's going to be the best experience. So you could, get the film, but then you could have a sour taste in your mouth because the process leading up to the wedding was not great, because they were hard to get a hold of, or
experiences
rude when they responded to you, like that kind of thing. So my don't is just don't fall in love with just the work. Like you also have to pay attention to the business side and how they handle themselves that way as well.
Right. Because however much, experience is like a huge thing for us from the very beginning, from the initial inquiry. I feel like that's something over the past 8 years that we've just been continually
to refine,
wanting to refine, is how do we create like the best experience for our clients, the pre-wedding day, on the wedding day, after the wedding day, because that's really, you're just going to love your end product so much more if you loved the people that created it too.
I would say they respond to emails within like 2 hours, and that's with the time difference. Like they are so on it. I'm like, how is this even possible? Like, I don't understand, but super on it. It's what I love, because London, people need to respond to emails.
Right. Oh, one more thing. I would say also similar to the do's and don'ts, similar to like with photography, where try not to get your heart. It is a live event, so it's something to consider, that there are just going to be certain variables that play into the day, and just as with photography, you might have this one dream shot in your mind that you really, really want, and know that your vendors are going to try as much as they can to get that. But I feel like, trusting your vendors 100%, that's a huge thing. I feel like when clients who trust us wholeheartedly, we do our best work with. Just because, and if there's one of those things where, maybe we're feeling a little bit constrained or somewhat micromanaged, it kind of crushes our creativity a little bit, because we're constantly second guessing, like, oh my gosh, wait, are we checking off this? Are we checking off this?
Look at the list.
I have to go look at the list, and then you miss a moment over there that just like a genuine moment that just happened. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one as well. And I always think, because I feel like finding the right vendors was like the biggest challenge of wedding planning in general. But it's really worth kind of pushing through to make sure that you are not only happy with your vendors, but completely trust them. Because it just, the amount of stress that's relieved of you when you do trust your vendors, it's just huge. And even like my florist, I was talking to her the other day and I was like, I'm really more, because she was asking like if I wanted specific flowers or colors, and I was like, honestly, like I showed her a few pictures, I was like, this is the general look, but I trust you enough to kind of, I don't need to specify flowers, I also don't know that much about flowers, but I was like, I just want generally like something to look nice or something to look kind of like this, but I also know you're awesome, so kind of do what you're going to do.
Right.
And I think that's true of almost every single vendor. Like if you just, as long as you trust what they're doing, then just let them be free.
And as a bride, or as an engaged couple, you are gonna enjoy planning so much more if you find and like, you know, let them like do their thing, and if you trust them wholeheartedly, like it's gonna be the best experience.
Because there are so many things to do when it comes to wedding planning. Like you don't need the added stress of micromanaging all your vendors. Like it's not something you need at all.
Right.
All right, next one is, how would you recommend finding a videographer? Because, so I will kind of touch upon my journey of finding, because I actually really struggled, and I think I started saving videographers kind of my secret wedding file before we were engaged, and it must have been like ages before, but I was obviously very confident about my selection of videographers, because I was like, oh, it's kind of in the bag. And then when I actually became engaged, I looked at my list and I was like, okay, well, they're okay, and I'm not too sure about that, but there was one that I liked a lot, and then I got almost to contract stage, but then what I didn't like was they kept on sneaking in extra prices. So they had included like VAT, and that's like 20% in the UK, and like all these extra things, and I was like, okay, suddenly it just wasn't in budget anymore, and I also had kind of a bad feeling about them kind of sneaking in added things to the budget, and then I just was completely at a dead end. So I just happened to email my photographer. I was like, on the off chance, do you have any recommendations? And then she recommended these guys, which I was very, very happy with. And then what I loved about it was the fact that I was so in love with Katie, my photographer style, and if I had to translate her photography style into videography, it is absolutely you guys. It looks like it's part of the same company because it's that seamless.
Right.
But it was obviously quite a long journey to find you guys. So how would you recommend finding a videographer?
Yeah, honestly, the way that you did it, asking recommendations, I think that's a huge one. And so a majority of our referrals are where people contact us is through
either through coordinators or photographers. Recommendations.
Yeah, planners and photographers, and or past brides, and or people whose friend used us and stuff. So I think that's a really good way to find them. And then also, like you said, it is really great when you can find someone whose video style matches your still images, because it just does create a nice cohesive look to the final products of both. And I know Katie's style is very light and airy and film-like, and we work with a lot of film photographers as well, because we love that style too. So in our color grading and stuff, we do it in that
kind
way.
of match it.
Yeah, try to match it.
And it just helps out like the day of, because if you're kind of coloring's the same, your lighting's the same, then that means like it's going to cut down on your, say, portrait time, because the photographer's going to put you in the same light as
and
well
then
as
we're
the same
gonna
light
love that light too.
Yeah. So we can get the same shot at the same time, and then it's a lot more seamless that way as well.
And I don't think I realised when I first started looking for photographers and videographers the difference in terms of styles and light, because especially in the UK I see a lot of kind of more darker, almost like grungy light, not
like dark and moody.
Exactly, which is not what I liked at all. And then there's kind of the whole other camp of, there's also the really kind of cinematic kind of style where it's very like heavily photoshopped and things like that, and then you have more like the light and bright. But even in that camp I see a lot of work which is not necessarily the film work, but the digital, which is very overexposed to the point where you lose a lot of the detail. So what I loved about Katie and your guys' style is that it's very light and bright, but you don't lose any of that detail. So, and her work with light was really what kind of attracted me to her, and then that just carried through, which is why I was so excited. And it's difficult to find as well, so you have to, I think, be clear about what style you want, because you don't want to sign something and then realize that you want, a completely different style. So it's best to do research before, I think. Okay, so what is the most common misconception about videography for weddings, in your opinion?
Yeah, so about 10 years ago, when we were kind of jumping in the industry, it was taking a big turn where wedding videos were just a lot more relatable to watch, and they were easier to watch, I feel like, because before, I think with our parents' generation, videos were like an hour, 2 hours long, and so with the launch of the DSLRs, the quality became so much better, and also just the editing form of wedding films.
And also with social media, it just became so much easier to share your film versus having your film on VHS or then DVD. It was like really hard to share it with people. So now when you can just either upload it to Facebook or email it out, it's a lot friendlier for people to have and to share.
Hold on to. Yeah.
I have lost so many hours of my life through watching wedding videos on YouTube. I can't even tell you. It's just a black hole, and you just like, it takes a while to get out of it. Like, it's tough, but it's just so interesting to see how other people kind of do their day and show their personality throughout the day, and I love watching them.
And one other thing I also think is a little bit of a misconception is pricing of wedding videography. I think for a long time people felt like it was really inexpensive, just because of it was for the longest time not
like a necessity.
A necessity, and I think it's becoming more of a necessity as the years go on, and also
and kind of like a rule of thumb is, I think a lot of people like that book us, you can pretty much guarantee that their photo budget was double what their budget was for us. That's just kind of the industry standard now. But it's, I don't know, we feel like we do the same amount of work, and then we have a lot more work
on the back end.
Oh my goodness, you don't need to tell me the editing.
I'm sure you know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I don't have 12 hours of footage like you guys might do, but editing takes so much time.
It does.
A ridiculous amount, so I can imagine it takes a lot.
And then one other thing that I think that we've found as far as a misconception, or not even a misconception, but almost just something that's over the years, is that when we first started, we really only included like a 15 to 20 minute film, and this was probably like 6 or 7 years ago, and people would be like, wow, 15 to 20 minutes, that's it? Like, that's so short. And then we're like, oh, well, we do a lot of layering in our editing process. And then as the years have gone down, now it's like, it's gotten shorter and shorter and shorter, and we've had to like redo our packages accordingly, as far as, okay, wow, people aren't, we do still have people that want a 15 to 20 minute film, which is awesome, but a majority of people are falling more within, the 10-minute film, or even like, I only want 5 minutes, like, I think that's going to be perfect for me. So I think as our attention spans have gotten shorter, so like we've had to bring our film lengths down.
It's true, and one thing I always read that why maybe lots of brides don't want a wedding video is because they don't think that they're going to watch it. But I mean, I would say I wouldn't watch a 20-minute video, but I absolutely want to watch like the 5-minute thing. I'm sure I'll watch that over and over again. So I think it is the change, because I don't want to sit through like a 3-hour video. So one other thing that I wanted to mention was, don't necessarily, because obviously I'm in California at the moment, which is where 618 Studios are based. They obviously travel because they're traveling to my wedding in France. But I have vendors coming from all over the world. Is that true? I know my photographer and obviously videographer are coming from California, but I do have other vendors, and it's important to like not just look within like your small radius, because actually it didn't work out to be, I thought it was going to be crazy to have people fly over from California and just like the price would be astronomical, and that really wasn't the case. And quite frequently they'll just kind of do a package, which is what you guys did, and include the travel in, and then it was really comparable to other people I was viewing even in France. So that is definitely something to consider. And you guys, I know, travel anyway for
we do a good amount of travel, so don't be afraid to look around into other areas, and
even to just inquire to get the prices and stuff, because it's more important to get someone that you really enjoy their work and you enjoy working with than it is to just find someone who's the best option because they're just near you.
Local,
And I think that's also true in terms of style as well, because certainly I thought it would just make more sense to have someone from the UK, but again, I struggled with that kind of more I say grungy, but you had a better word for it.
Moody. Dark and
moody style, which I just didn't want, and every UK person I was looking at really had that style. I guess maybe also because of the weather, because it's always sunny in California, and then you have to kind of deal with more elements in the UK, so maybe that just works better. Whereas obviously in California, everything was kind of lighter and brighter, which I guess is why I was more attracted to that style. So for me, it just made more sense. And then when I found out that the prices were either comparable or even less in some cases than some of the quotes I got, it just absolutely made sense. So definitely look outside the box, because I'm obviously so happy with you guys and Katie as well. So I'm so glad I decided, because when I first looked, I was like, oh, this is going to be like a long shot. And the first quote I got back, I was really pleasantly surprised. So
yeah, works out.
Yeah.
Sure. Alright, you guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much to Paul and Kelly for chatting about everything videography. Do you have any parting words of wisdom to anyone planning their wedding?
Yeah, I would just say enjoy the process. It's a really fun experience. It can be like the most amazing experience. So just enjoy every part of it. Really select vendors who you truly trust. And
I will say, this goes not so much planning, but the day of, really enjoy the day, because since we got married, I don't think we've been together with all those people in the same room.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Weddings and funerals.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Right? It shouldn't be the case, but it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, really, really enjoy your day. Take time. Don't get stressed out about the small stuff. Yeah.
Feel the love.
Yes, feel all the love. So.
Perfect. So I will obviously link their details below if you want to check them out. They're amazing. I'm super excited to have you.
We are too.
I'm going to be sharing it on YouTube as well, so you guys will get to see the finished results. So yeah, it's only 70 days. I counted the other day. It's like 70 days or something crazy like that.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so scared.
We are so excited.
So yeah, thank you so much for doing this.
Us.
See you guys next time.
Bye.